Hi everybody, I'm Will from Will's Electrical Services, also known as the Midfield General, just doing bits. This is a bit of a strange one, this episode. It's a bit like cribs, isn't it? I'm literally just going to show you around my hand tools and some of the ideas, and I'll tell you why I use them and all that. I obviously am addicted to tools, so obviously I have got more than one set of drivers, you know. I explain it as I go through, yeah? So yeah, what I start off with is what's in the front, and then I go to the back, the money shots, yeah? So in the front one, I've got the little Milwaukee pocket level. That is basically, that's ideal for recessed boxes. Usually, if we're obviously marking out all the sockets and all that, usually we ping a laser around. I've got like the dual green and red ones, but if we're just doing the odd socket on their own, and obviously it's always healthy for like me or Ollie to carry around, I've got this one, this little pocket level, yeah, it's absolutely perfect. It goes perfectly in the double socket, not so much a single socket. Usually I have to put it in like that, but yeah, it's alright, it's touch. It's only a fiver, so why not? Just have a quick look in the front one, yeah. And I've got my plug-in tester here, a Fluke one, SM200. Yeah, with these, I always have the audio ones, you know, because I do it. Yeah, obviously it lights up and all that, yeah. Because we do a lot of commercial testing and all that, you can't have them without audio. They're literally a waste of time. I think the original ones, the Martindale ones, they used to have the, you know, the blue ones. That's why everyone calls these Martindales, or everyone I know calls them Martindales, because the original brand, I suppose. But yeah, they're a must-have. They're brilliant, they are, especially for testing. Also, next one, we've got the Marxman. These things are absolutely pucker. I couldn't. They do have their plus and minuses, like, because obviously, like, we've had quite a few of them now, you know. And the trouble is when they get a bit empty, it's hard to tell. So, like, and usually when you're using these, it's like when you're on the top of the steps and all that, and they run out, and sometimes I think it's because I keep it sometimes in this pocket, it bends, so every time you're trying to get it in there, the fucker don't work, and it's well annoying. And I know it pisses Ollie off and all, because what they work perfectly on is the old whisker boxes, and you know the 4 holes, when you're trying to spray it in there, you're about 2 or 3 inches away from the wall, aren't you? But it does work perfectly. It is just a bit frustrating, but come on. It's 2020, you know what I mean? We're living in privileged times. We need shit to work. I've also got a utility key. You know, it's just a Bob standard one. I don't know where I got that from, but yeah, it's got a cabinet key, gas key, you know, normal shit. You can buy them anywhere for £1. I've also got a tap as well. I don't usually keep that in there, but I've got a few of them. Yeah, a little CK tap, you know, just for repairing plug sockets, 3.5 threader. You know, that's pucker. What else have I got? Yeah, so obviously, I'll show you these. I've got the Knipex scissors. These are pucker. I'll come up and show you these. What these are best for, see that bit there? Yeah? What these are best for is, you know, if you get the cable, like the fabric cable, you know, like you get all these shitty bespoke light fittings now with all the fabric around them and all that, they are pucker for that, you know, because you just have to cut it, and they are pretty sharp, you know. These ones, I've got a couple of sets and all, and also they do come with this holder thing, you know, which it must be in one of my other toolboxes, but yeah, they do come in with the holder things, but I just I take them out because they fit in there better without them. But yeah, I do recommend them with flexes and all that. They are pretty good. They're a lot better than the CK ones. Say a lot better. The CK ones are more like are more scissors, where these are more like cable shears, really. But yeah, they're definitely worth carrying around. I do recommend them. This bit here, this long bit, I'll show you this. Look, I don't know why I put that in there. I was just going to show you that as part of a belt, but on my drill bits, I have these, yeah, the long 6-inch bits, and I'll show you at the end because that's a part of the tip, yeah, or I'll explain that to you, yeah. Right, let's get to the nitty gritty. Right, this ain't actually my normal Milwaukee. This is a fastback. These are pucker, these knives. I love them. I have got so many different variations of knives, just because, you always seem to find a lot nice, but this come with one of these packs, you know, one of these come with that. I've got a different one, but this is like the sort of reserve one, but I do like these because they're pucker, because, you know, I usually carry these where I've got the Snickers holsters, you know, all my Snickers, I always buy them with the holsters, because I just think, you know, because I've got no hips, I don't really wear tool belts, that's why I always carry this and rather wear a tool belt, so that always goes in my pocket, because, you know, you always open in boxes and stuff like that, and yeah. And then the next thing is the volt stick, you know, or whatever they call it, volt alert, you know, like these things are pucker, like, it really pisses me off. It really pisses me off when people give it the large one about, oh, you shouldn't really use them, shouldn't really use them. You know, it's fault detection without any, you know, touch, you know what I mean? If you're up in a loft or anything like that and you need to know something on, like, fair enough, you can't rely on it 100%, but you pretty can if you're working with somebody and they're, you know, they're isolating the circuit on and off, I think they're perfectly fine, and a lot of other people do, because, like, especially commercial testing, they are worth their weight in gold. I don't know why they get such a hard time. People are always like, oh, they're not very reliable and all that. But if you prove it on an unknown circuit, then why not? You know what I mean? Because I think it's such a shit. I think they get a lot of things, because no different from any other meter. But hey, that's me. Obviously, this is a new tool. I'll come up and show you this. Yeah. I watch, you know, that trusted electrician, that Luke Pritchard, I think the guy is. Absolutely love his shows. He's brilliant. He is. He reminds me of Peter Jinks, a geezer I used to work with. He's like superb. He's got the same mannerisms, you know, the confidence and all that. He's a proper nice, and he does seem like a good sparks and all, and a nice guy. So, but yeah, I see him with that, and I thought, fuck me. The amount of times I could have used that, you know, like when you get the plastic boxes and use a cone cutter and it threads up, or milli trunk and all that, you could just rim it with that and it take it off. Where I used to do it with a standing knife, it always wrecked the old standing knife. So yeah, it's absolutely pucker, that is. And then we go on to my boat level. I always use a Stabila, like with the 2 magnets. This one, strong as arseholes. Yeah. Absolutely pucker. You know, like, I've only ever used Stabila boat levels, really. You know, like of this torpedo sort of size and all that, because they can't go wrong. You know what I mean? If every scaffolder in the country is bowling around with them in their belt, you know what I mean? They've got to be good. And especially, I'm never going to not buy it without magnets, because I do a bit of containment every now and then, and it's like, why not? You know what I mean? It's a no-brainer, really. Puck a little level that. Right, so we go again. Right, so these are Facom screwdrivers. I absolutely love screwdrivers. I only buy them in sets, so like I'm going to do in another episode, I'll show you all my screwdrivers. But I'm trying these ones out at the moment, the Facom ones, and they are absolutely awesome. I really like them. Like, the plus sides on them, they're really heavy. That's what I really like. And there was 5 in a set, and they were 25 quid. I think they've gone up at the moment. I think they've gone back up to 35. But I thought for 25 quid, I'll give them a try. I remember when I first started, like, Irizolas were like 50, 60 quid. And like now, because obviously the modern times and all that, they're so much cheaper. But these Facom ones, I'll definitely give them a shout. But I'm not going to show you too much, because I'm actually going to do a whole episode on screwdrivers. You know, I know you're probably thinking, fuck me, Will, that's going to be boring. But I will give a shout out to old Luke Sparky. Is these little drivers that he was showing on their Regin electrical after it's come off. But funny enough, he put them on there, and I used to use one of these when I was apprentice, obviously one of the plumbers. I always thought that blue bit was a bit of like neutral sleeving or something like that. I didn't realise it was actually part of it. I suppose it's just where it's cheap and it's thing. But the good thing about it is you get a lot of screwdrivers now. Like I've got the CK interchangeable blades. One of the heads there's got one, but the base spins, and this blade is absolutely perfect for doing Gregs. You know, the plug-in ceiling rows for the plugs. We don't really make them anymore, do we? But yeah, when I was apprentice, I reckon I've probably done about 2,000 in my time. But yeah, that is an awesome screwdriver. There is better brands, there probably is better screwdrivers, but for me, that's a bit of reminiscing with that, and I was well chuffed when he got that. I got 2 of them, you know. Right, what we're going to now, we go to the cutters. I have 2 sets of cutters. I mainly use the bigger ones, you know. I don't know why. These are the Tellemans ones, but I think these were the original ones. These were the TT cutters. They used to have TT cutters on them, didn't they? And they only come in the green ones, you know. And obviously these are CK ones. I think Ollie's ones are Bachos. I think they're all must be, again, made in the same factory, because they're all the same. You can't tell me they're not, you know what I mean? But yeah, they're absolutely pucker. I'll show these on another show, on another episode show. I don't know, what do we call this shit? You know what I mean? Just me utter talking shit to myself. But yeah, I'll show them on another show, because they're worth their while, and I think they're pucker. I know a lot of the domestic old boys probably use these around their like house and these for the tails, but I prefer to use these. They're a bit nicer, but you know, I like both. They're only cheap. I think they're only about a tenner each. Yeah. And then I'll go for my tape measure. I don't usually have this one on here, but I'll swap and change, but I usually like the Fat Max one, you know, the yellow one, not like the one Ollie's got. But the good thing is with this one is that it's got a magnet there, so you probably can't see that, can you? But yeah, it's got a magnet. Right, yeah. Anyway, this is the Milwaukee magnet 6 metre by 24. Has a nice little clip on the back, which is pretty strong. And also the Milwaukee ones, which I noticed, have got this like little finger brake on the back of it, and I don't really see the point of it really, you know what I mean, because I just always take my finger away and let it snap back. I always feel as if it helps out with the mechanism, like it clears all the shit off it. But yeah, it is a nice tape measure. But once again, obviously this is, you know, I'm gonna go through all this shit and bleed all this shit dry eventually. Right, my voltage testers, yeah, I've got a set of T5s. These are 1,000 volt ones, these ones. I've even managed to keep the case of these. Yeah, absolutely pucky, you can't go wrong. They're enough, I think, you know, they go in, you know, not that they will tell you that there's voltage there, because the T6 do, that's what's the changing. That's what basically makes the T6, is that it's got a voltage thing on there. But the thing is with the T6, it will even tell you whether it's 230, 415 or whatever voltage it is. They look good, but they're about 180 quid, and it's like, you know, when you've got a healthy set anyway, and the extra function you're probably not going to use, you know, like the next meter I want to get is that Mega, you know, the earth leakage, but we'll chat about that another time, because I'll get all my meters out and I'll show you them. Yeah, right, now we're going to the nitty gritty, the money shot. I always keep pencils and a Sharpie. Oh, Grant from G-Leg, what a page he's got. Make sure you give him a follower as well, Grant. He was like, I remember last year or so when I was doing all this, I asked him, because he does a lot of these reviews on Instagrams, which are superb, with these mats, and I was like, I've always wanted them. Like, where did you get them from? Because I'm going to do a lot of soldering and all that. I'm going to start doing all that, you know, the tapes and all that, the LED tapes. Like I see Rich and all that from Artofsmartuk, they're always doing their own, and I thought, I'll give it a go, you know what I mean? It's not about financial things, because it only costs you a fiver, and I suppose you get your warranty, but I like the idea of doing it, because I thought it was only the IP rated one that they actually like soldered it on, but they actually do the standard ones as well, which I'll show you. I can see one now, but I'm not going to grab it for you because it's a different thing. So yeah, and the pencils, obviously I always keep a couple of them in there. But the tape, yeah, just because I'm giving it the big one with this, usually I've got a mixture of coloured tapes there, but I don't usually have the normal set, normal colours. Right, these fuckers get such a bad time, these cutters. I had to show these. Like, I remember for the first like 10 years, I used to take the right piss out of them. You know, I used to think they're proper apprentice ones and all that. And Kev had a set, and we were doing them Gregs that I was saying about. We were doing them Gregs, like the plug-in ceiling roses, and obviously, as you do, as I always do, we're racing. You know, like keep our speed up and all that. We're racing to do it. And Kev's absolutely smashing me, like absolutely smashing me. And he knew he was winding me up because he kept hiding these. And in the end, I was like, "Come on, mate, how you doing that?" Like, you know. And he showed me. And look, they take, like, a lot of people take the piss out of these, and these are perfect for downlights. You know, when you have got cables, they're not very good if they're in a box or anything like that. But look, that is a Duraflex. That is an absolute knicker dropper. You know what I mean? And they're cheap as anything. I think they're in Tool Station for about 12 quid, 13 quid. And they're the CK version. I wouldn't probably go any worse in the brands than CK. I think it's CK's product, you know what I mean? Also, I've got the Bacho grips. I've always loved the Bacho grips, and I also love the Knipex Cobras. Like, to be honest, it's between the two, always in here, you know. I can't say I've got a favourite, and I can't say I ain't, because the Bacho ones are awesome, mate. I tell you, they never slip or anything. But they did, at one point, they did go a bit pikey, the old Bacho ones, and they used to, see, when this has got a metal switch, I'll put a photo up, but where it's got a metal switch there, they did change it to plastic for a little while. And honestly, they used to break like anything. If you was on, if you drop it, like I remember we was doing a unit in Letchworth, and Sean Payne, he threw a set up to me, and they flew past the tower. Health and safety, I know, but hey ho, it is what it is. And they fell on the floor and they broke. And it was just like, it was ridiculous. Like, it was only about 8 foot in the air. You know what I mean? But yeah, these are the Bachos, and the funny thing is with these is like crazy. And what I love about like Amazon at the moment is, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a salesman for Amazon or anything. Anything I'm showing you here, just obviously make sure you look around online. You know what I mean? I do get most of my Milwaukee gear from Power Tool, mate, but like yeah, because all the Bacho gear, it's like dirt cheap on Amazon, and I don't know why. I think I paid about 20 quid for these, and I used to pay 40, 50 quid I think for them, you know what I mean? And it was just like unbelievable. It's like the oh sorry, is that turning off? Yeah, it's like the adjustable grips, like, you know, sorry, not the adjustable, are they? No, the adjustable spanner, you know, like with the nice handles and all that. I used to buy the whole set now for what I used to pay for, the, like, one of them, you know. I'll show you that, because they're in my tool bag that's in my thing. And then also, the next thing I've got is, I call these the hybrids, these Knipex. Yeah, they're quite new. They're a bit weird. I don't actually mind them, to be fair. They're quite nice, but I'll show you around them. Like, obviously you've got long nose, so that works well. I quite like that side of it. The long nose, and you can strip the cables. I obviously will do a close up on this, you know. I'll put it on the screen. But the weird thing is, which I don't like, is that the cable shear is right in the middle. And obviously, where I use these all the time, you know, it is like wanking wearing fucking false nails. You think you're gonna cut your fucking knob off, you know what I mean? It's like really weird, you know what I mean? See what I'm saying? Yeah? And that's the Knipex. Like, I don't know why these models, I don't, like, obviously I bought them offline, you know, so, but I don't know why, because some of them have a little spring there, but these ones don't. These are the Knipex 13 86200. Fucking proper nice though, proper nice. Like, I am a fan of Knipex, to be fair, and, you know, like, they are a nice brand. I used to have them when I was an apprentice, and a few of the other sparks used to take the piss out of me because they used to think it was proper Jippo and all that. It's funny how times change, where, like, they're probably the number one brand at the moment, aren't they? Right, and then also, I've got my little hammer. This hammer is a right little knicker dropper. I tell you, it actually got, the plasterer I was on about fucking picked it up the other day, and he was well impressed with it. It is nice. It's like, as Darren, the builder, says, you know, it's good, it's cordless, and it's fast as well. It's hilarious, isn't it? But yeah, it's really nice, and I'm not the biggest fan of these, like, Wiha. You know, I've got to be honest, like, these drivers I show you, I'll quickly show you all these afterwards and all that. And the handle, you know, like, it's like this, the handle's lovely and it's quite light. I always usually have a 20 ounce E-swing, you know, the blue handle, like the same as every other tradesman in the world's got, you know, on the belt. You know, I usually use that, but what I found with them hammers is, and what I see with this, is that when you're clipping up against like a ceiling or something like that, the hammer can't get in there, but this one can, and honestly, it's brilliant. I'll show you I'll show you a demonstration later on say I'll try and get something to show you, but that is awesome. I think it's only cheap. I think it's about 23, 24 quid, but yeah, it's nice, but it's the same as everything, you know. If you're going to use it as a hammer to smash shit up, then yeah, it's probably not the one, because it's only 16 ounces. But if you want to, you know, if it's for clipping or just general like stuff what we do on first fix, you know, like on a timber frame and all that, with clips and all that, because it's sharp as anything, so you can obviously get the clips out as well, and you know, it's absolutely pucker, you know. And like, as I say, where I'm not really a fan of theirs, I keep saying I'm not a fan, I'm just really let down by their drivers. I just think they're dog shit, you know, like, but so I'll tell you about that in a minute. Right, and this is my tool bag. I absolutely love this, you know. I think it's cool as fuck. I've had it for years, you know, and that was the other bit I was showing you there. I had the holster. It's a part of a belt system and all that, but I don't ever use it, you know. But I love this because I love the colouring. I think it's great. Like CK, I think it's about 7 years ago, changed all the system, like to my tool kit, like it's all gone grey, red and black, where it used to be these colours, and this is pucko, it looks a lot cooler, you know. It's like them Vito bags, like what Ollie's got there, and like, I've got bits and bobs of Vito, and don't get me wrong, the only trouble is with them, I think they're proper ugly, they don't look very cool, do they? And that's a massive thing with the old industry, is that all the tool bags that just don't make them look nice. You know, they're all a bit gimpy, aren't they? You know, and I think I like this look of this bag. I think it looks pretty cool, and like it's like Ollie's little bag. Like, I know you Vito fans and all that. I'm not saying that they're bad at all, because they're far from it. They're built like indestructible. But if you're paying $250 for a rucksack, it's got to be you know, I ain't paying $250 for a rucksack, no chance, unless it's got Hugo Boss or fucking Armani on it. I ain't having it for that price, because I did look, and funny enough, I looked at the rucksack, and is it the blackout one? And I thought, fucking hell, that looks pretty smart. But then I remembered, because I use the Stanley Fatmax rucksack, especially for when we do commercial testing. I'll show you that at some point. I'll show you the setup of my commercial tester, because obviously it's slightly different with walkie talkies and all that. But yeah, and like that is the drama with that. Like the Stanley Fatmax ones, like they're black and they're perfect whilst you're doing like service jobs and all that. But if you do first fix and all that, and you get a black bag in there, it's just a total nightmare. It's like that shitty bag I've got in there. Like, my main bag is a Stanley Fatmax, like the tote bag, you know, but with the lid on it, because I was just really into the tote bags and all that, and I can't, you know, rucksacks. I'm just too I'm too, not unorganised, but I'm just too aggressive to have a rucksack. It's just, I can't work out of it. There's just not, you can't carry enough tools. You've just got to be super anal with your tools, you know, and I respect people for that, you know, it shows that you're awesome, but I've worked on price for too long, I can't do it, you know, and at least I admit it, but hey ho, it is what it is. Right, I'll just quickly show you around Ollie's little man bag. I bought Ollie this for Christmas. Well, actually, I think I bought him all the tools. But yeah, these Vito bags are smart. I've got to give you that. But I just don't like the look of them. I just don't think they look very smart. What's he got? He's got little... I didn't buy him this because he found that above the ceiling. Little Stanley power lock. They were blinding little things. Look. And it looked almost brand new. It looked like some plumber left it in the ceiling in the school. Yeah. And then what else has he got? He's got a little testers, because obviously he's got to play safe, yeah. So he knows how to do safe isolation and all that. So yeah, he's got the little Nulek prong testers, voltage continuity testers. The Nuleks, just ones for WF. What else have we got? he's got the Wiha ones. His other bag is a CK technical bag, you know, so he's just got his knife and fork in here, so he's got a flat head and all that. He's got his PZ2, yeah. I've got, you know, these Wiha drivers, I've got to say the handles are comfortable as anything. I'd probably say they're probably up there with probably the top ones, if not the top ones. But the trouble is, it's the ends are crap. You know, like I've got, you know, I know I do use a lot of torque, but they do snap off, and I just can't believe how weak they are. I just think they're terrible. He's obviously got his little Bacho little cutters there. They're awesome. What else he got? He's got his little knife, little CK knife, just a standard sort of Stanley sort of version knife. Obviously he's got his little pad saw. We always use the fold away blade ones, because the thing is though, I'll tell you another story about Bacho in another time, but no doubt I'm going to have one at some point tonight. It's the same as everything, you always say no and it turns up. Anyway, I think we've done for another episode. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you later. Alligator, up the old blues.